Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Creatrix, and this is my channel, The World Stage, where I talk about the most recent present day energy that I am picking up from the global collective energy that exists. Okay, I am a spiritual scientist and a spiritual investigative journalist, and I bring to you what I pick up as a clear channel for the universe. Okay, so on today's video, we are going to talk about pain and discomfort, because this is a topic that will never get old. This is an energy that will always exist, okay? And it will always affect every single and each one of us individually and as a whole, collectively, community-wise, and all of the subgroups and all of that, right? We're always going to be dealing with pain and discomfort on every level, okay? And speaking of levels, I just want to be clear that I'm speaking from the true perspective that the Earth realm is indeed a game in which we are here to conquer ourselves and contract. Sometimes we contract, right? That means we remove all of the things that are not serving us and we expand as well, okay? Expansion means gaining things that serve us and what we need, okay? So in this Earth realm, there's competition, there's a lot of mysterious things, there's a lot of transparent things, there's a lot of things that can happen in this Earth realm, okay? The laws of this game are the Hermetic principles, essentially, and maybe a few more give and take, which I did a video on the laws. Go check it out. There are no rules in this game, okay? Rules are kind of like morals, courtesies, values, things like that, right? Things that you can break. If you can break it, I consider it a rule. If it's a law, you cannot break it, right? It's built into the game. The laws are built into the game. You cannot overcome or break any of the laws, okay? Just as a perspective and a foundation, that is how I'm basing my perspective in this video, okay? And if you haven't seen any of my videos talking about how the Earth realm is indeed a game, please go check out my previous videos. It's a very good perspective to have because it's true, right? And truth isn't just one and done. There can be multiple truths, right? Depending on what perspective you're viewing them from. Truth is something that can resonate in many different ways, right? And one of the truths that would be beneficial for us to accept here on this realm is the fact that the Earth realm is indeed a game. Okay, and the name of the game is evolution. Who can evolve the quickest, who can tap into their magic capabilities more quicker. And magic, and when I say magic, I'm not talking about Harry Potter wands and Wingardium Leviosa. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about controlling our inner world, okay? Diving deep into our inner world to affect our external world, all right? So with that being said, a very important component of this game is going to be pain and discomfort, right? And like I said, we all deal with pain and discomfort. So in this video, we're going to talk about what is pain and discomfort and why do we need it and how do we use it to our advantage, okay? And when you know what it is and when you can understand what it is, then you can use it to your advantage. But if you're just going about this game, letting pain and discomfort fling you every which way, being controlled by it, then you won't be able to harness it, hone it, and make it yours, okay? Make it your bitch, all right? Pain and discomfort is actually something that is beneficial to us, not detrimental, okay? I'm sure you all have heard the phrase that pain is your body or your emotions or whatever, right? Telling you that something is wrong, right? I'm sure you guys have heard that. I've heard that my whole existence growing up. I've heard that pain is your body's way of telling you that something is wrong. Discomfort is the energy that something is wrong, okay? But what if I tell you this, the truth? Pain is actually the marker of evolution. Pain is actually the solution to whatever problem that we are experiencing. Pain is actually a signal to our spiritual mind, or to our spirit, mind, and body, that a solution is already underway. You guys getting what I'm saying? All right, so whenever we feel pain and discomfort, it's actually our bodies, our mind, our spirit, wherever you're feeling the pain, letting us know that something is changing, something is evolving, which is in and of itself the solution to whatever situation that we were in. And this might sound weird, because then you're thinking, well, then if pain isn't our being signaling to us that something is wrong, then, and it's actually signaling to us that something is right, and that evolution is happening, and that a solution is already in existence, and a solution is already underway, then, like, what's the point of life? What is the point, right? Because it is pain and discomfort that keeps us going, that keeps us moving, that, under the current paradigm of what we understand pain and discomfort to be, it's the moving force, the driving force, right, that keeps us moving forward. For example, if you have a family member of yours, or a caregiver of yours, that uses, timeouts or spankings, or, berating you, belittling you, emotional, psychological, verbal abuse, to, thinking that they are, with good intentions, right? But thinking that they are setting you on the right path, putting you on the correct path, then that discomfort that you feel when you're facing this abuse, or physical discomfort, emotional discomfort, when you're in timeout or any of that stuff, is your signal to tell yourself, oh, I'm actually doing something wrong, let me do it right, and to change, right, to evolve, right? So that is the way that we evolve. Even when you're in the workplace, right, and you get reprimanded, or you get written up, and you don't like that feeling of getting written up, because now your money is on the line, now your financial security is being challenged, right? So you're going to tighten up, and whatever you did to get yourself written up, you're not going to do it again, right? Or even in religion, where religion uses the fear of hell and sinning and losing the grace of God, right, to avoid doing something, or to keep you in line, to keep you in check, to keep you in a box, right? That's all dependent on fear. So you don't want to fall into the discomfort of you feeling guilty or shame because you did something, because now you're going to go to hell, or XYZ, whatever religion, is different for different religions, right? But in actuality, pain and discomfort it's a reflection. Okay, it's a reflection that's telling us, hey, I don't like what I'm experiencing. I don't like what I'm experiencing, and I'm already creating a change within my being to counteract, or to be able to withstand whatever is going on in my environment. So if you can't physically remove yourself from that environment, you will experience the pain or discomfort of evolving into a version of yourself that can withstand that whatever is going on in your environment, right? If you can leave, and if you can move, the universe is already organizing itself to make a bridge, to make a way for you to move out of a situation if you are supposed to. Now, a lot of the times, right, the situations that arise in our life are meant for us to face them head on. All right. If a challenge arises in your life, you are supposed to rise to that occasion, rise to that challenge. If you are supposed to move, like physically move out of the environment, then there will be a way for you to do that as well. Okay. But it kind of depends on the situation that you're in. But I'm just saying, most of the time, we are supposed to face our challenges head on, versus a lot of us choose to escape. And that like pain and discomfort is actually not the pain and discomfort. Escapism is the suffering, okay? Because escaping or finding a different route or a different path that we're not supposed to be on is actually a form of resistance, okay? And when we resist what we are supposed to come together with on this realm, whether we perceive it as good or bad, right? And good or bad are just constructs of society, right? Like getting your car repoed, that could seem really bad, but in actuality, you could be getting set up for something, for a bigger win, right? You sacrifice something and you get something better. But in our minds, oh, getting your car repoed or getting evicted or losing a relationship or breaking up with your fiance, it can seem really terrible, right? But the suffering comes into play when we're in resistance. When pain and the discomfort is our bodies evolving, the solution is already here. By the time the pain and discomfort are happening, the solution is already undergoing. And that's our body and our mind and our aura's way of letting us know that the solution is already here. However, when we are in resistance to that solution, when we shy away from the pain and the discomfort, when we escape using whatever, alcohol, drugs, even our imagination. I used to use my imagination to escape all the time, right? Like I used to lay in bed and escape into imagination world and hope that the things that I didn't like in my life went away. Like it was real delusional. But in that, I wasn't learning, I wasn't progressing, I wasn't evolving, right? So that's why resistance causes suffering. When we experience pain and discomfort, the best thing that we could do is lean into it, all right? And once we're able to get really good at leaning into it, we then can find humor in situations. We then can actually find a moment, or we can hold on to the faith, to knowing that the Most High or the universe has our full back. Like we can see past this illusion that things are falling apart in our life, and we can find humor and solace and happiness and joy in those moments. And that's how we become ascended masters, is realizing that pain and discomfort are not only part of the program, but it's actually a solution to the issues, right? The problems that we face. And so there's literally, because pain and discomfort are already the solution underway, what does that mean? We literally don't have to do anything. We literally don't have to do anything to solve our problems. The problems are already being solved for us, okay? And our main focus, this is giving me goosebumps and chills, our main focus should be just to exist, to be, to feel, to love, to hate, to judge, to not judge, to just be in this moment, whatever it is that you are. I used to judge people that judged, right? And I was like, wait, I'm judging. If I judge people who judge, then I'm judging. If I say I'm spiritual and we're here to just be, and I berate people for being religious and trying to convince other people to join their religion, then I myself am stepping out of my spirituality. You get what I'm saying? So the point is to allow, to live and let live, right? But that's kind of a little tangent. So when we're talking about pain and discomfort, right? Because there's a solution already underway, and pain and discomfort is the signal to that. There's literally nothing that we have to do, because the universe is already organizing and reorganizing, and I just heard categorizing and constructing and building, right, of a situation in which we aren't experiencing the same things anymore. It's already movement towards a direction that we deem where we would like to go, or maybe we don't know we'd like to go there. However, whatever situation is being constructed is going to be beneficial to us, beneficial to our health, to our progress, and to our overall evolution in this realm. So that is why we are perfect beings. Okay, we are perfect beings. We can see that the perfection is the pain, the perfection is the discomfort, the perfection is the asymmetry, it is the fine lines and the wrinkles and the gray hairs and the financial instability, the illusion of financial instability, right? Once we can really grasp the fact that this is the perfection, right? Then we become ascended masters, and it's like I'm getting this vision of somebody floating above the clouds, right? And looking down on the rest of the world, and not looking down in a condescending way, but just being able to have a bird's eye view. Okay, this is how we get closer to the Most High. This is how we become the best and brightest version of ourselves. This is how we transcend the physical body, is to be able to have a viewpoint or a vantage that doesn't forces us to be triggered. Okay, because what happens is the pain and the discomfort is not the trigger itself. The pain, like I said, the pain and the discomfort is the solution. However, our reaction to that solution, our reaction to the pain and the discomfort can be triggering. Okay, and once we remove that reaction, if we feel pain and discomfort and we become depressed, all right, or our anxiety gets triggered, or we get angry or sad, or whatever the case is, right? Even happy, even if you're happy when you experience pain and discomfort, what do they call that? Sadomasochism or something like that? I don't know. S&M. There's some type of kink where people like pain and discomfort, right? Turns them on. And that's cool. Like if that's what you like, that's what you like. I'm not really talking about that, but I'm talking about the pain and the discomfort that brings us suffering, right? That we think is bringing us suffering, right? The suffering comes in when we are trying to get rid of the pain and the discomfort, or the suffering comes in when our emotions take over and we lose control to the pain and the discomfort. You get what I'm saying? So in order to be an ascendant master, right? When you ascend, what does it mean? It means to be above, to go up, to go higher. And what happens when you get higher? You have a different perspective. And so when we are greeted in this realm with pain and discomfort, if we can remove emotional reactions as a whole and literally be indifferent, literally become just observers, right, in our bodies, when we feel the pain and discomfort, if we can become observers, then we are ascendant masters. Okay, somebody who's coming to mind is Yeshua. That's how you say Yeshua, which is the real and true version of who a lot of people in this realm consider Jesus Christ. Okay, Yeshua is the ascendant master that Jesus Christ is based off of, right? And so, we know the story of Jesus Christ, right? Like if you're in the English speaking world or even further, you know who Jesus Christ is, and you know that he was hung. He was hung on a cross. He was hung on a cross because they didn't like him, or he was exiled, or whatever. It was a hierarchy, and he was being picked on, right? So they picked on him, and there's this whole thing in the Bible about where he prayed to God and he said, God, please save me. Why do I have to go through this? And right? They're showing in this place of the Bible, right? By the way, the Bible is very much so tampered with. All right. Man-made things can always be tampered with. Material things can always be tampered with. That's why when the Most High designed this game, the Most High designed everything to be internal. Right? There's no way that anybody can tamper with your internal world. All right. Well, I mean, that's not entirely true, but what I mean is that the tools that the Most High gave us in this realm, which is the body that we were born with and our soul and all of that, that's exactly all we need to survive in this, not only survive, to win in this game. Okay, so our internal world, we can protect more than we can material things, especially something like the Bible that has been passed down from generation to generation. It can definitely be tampered with. However, our knowledge and our wisdom that we gain through our experiences, that can never be tampered with. So I always trust myself before I trust anything else, because I have a connection with Yeshua. I speak with Yeshua, and I speak with a myriad of different beings from different pantheons. Okay? And so there's no need for me to read the text of that some other man wrote. All right. So with that being said, in the Bible, he asks for, salvation from God, or like he asks that he, like, can I please not go through this, basically is what Jesus asked God. Like, if there's any way, Father, that I can bypass this part, of me being hung and stuff, please, let's do that, right? However, a lot of people, and even me including myself, I always question, why would God make his child suffer, you know? But in actuality, the pain and the discomfort, what happened right after Jesus was nailed to the cross, right? Or Yeshua, or let's say Jesus. I don't even think that even really happened, right? I know that didn't happen. Like, Yeshua was not nailed to a cross, but Yeshua did experience pain and discomfort, and he was able to ascend tremendously, right? Like, right after he was nailed, like Jesus was nailed to the cross, basically Jesus went into an extreme ascension and pretty much was never heard from again. You know, they laid his body to rest after 3 days. They laid his body to rest, and then after 3 days he rose, and basically he was never seen from again. Quick side note, Yeshua in Israel, right? The true Yeshua, the ascended master in Israel, after he ascended, he actually became Krishna in India and lived like a freaking king, because that's what Krishna was. Like, he was this king or whatever, very rich, happy, material wealth, right? He had the material wealth, but Krishna had to go through, you know, the trials and tribulation, the pain and the discomfort of the ascension, right? Which is the solution. So you see how the Most High wraps everything up in a beautiful bow for us? We come to this realm thinking that we have to do this, and I have to grab that, and I have to compete for this, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. When you come to this realm, the learning, the beauty of the learning and the wisdom and gaining the wisdom is handed to you, and all you have to do is receive it. There's nothing else that you have to do except to be. This realm and this world works for you if you let it. But the problem is that so many people come here and they are in such resistance to this realm. It's like they choose to come here, but then they're in such resistance, they decide to run away from the learning, because the pain and the discomfort that exists in this realm is the actual ascension. You see how the Most High did that? The pain and the discomfort is the actual ascension. And because the better you are at, this is so crazy, the better you are at being okay or being indifferent to the pain and the suffering, the more you ascend. You see how the Most High just recycles this? Like the Most High does this. Do you hear me? All you have to do is just be and allow and let go of the resistance. All you have to do is exist. And that is why the Most High is the Most High, because the Most High is a master of just existing. In the spirit realm, I saw the Most High, and it was in the shape of a humanoid woman. It was all green. I said this in a previous video. It was all green, and it was asleep. The Most High was asleep. And I used to think that, oh, the Most High is dormant. But no, this is how the Most High exists. And from time to time, the Most High would wake up and a whole bunch of creation energy would erupt from its heart chakra. It would erupt from its heart chakra, and then it would go back to sleep, because it's just existing, right? And so I hope that this video makes sense. I know that because there's such a heavy illusion, this is part of the learning as well. There's such a heavy illusion here on this realm that makes it so challenging for us to find the love, to find the energy, to find the peace in the chaos. But literally, if you can control your mind enough to be able to find the joy, the happiness, the balance in situations where we feel the most pain and discomfort, it's like ripping off the band-aid quickly. You will be able to get to your desired outcome quicker, all right? But the more we resist the pain and the discomfort, the more it piles up. It doesn't go away. It's like a conveyor belt, right? It's like a conveyor belt, and you know, you're supposed to be picking an object off the conveyor belt, but every time you pick up the object, it shocks you, right? So you decide you're not going to pick any of these objects off the conveyor belt because you don't want to get shocked anymore. So what happens is the shock gets increasing. It increases more and more and more and more until it's a really high voltage. And on top of that, all of the objects that are on the conveyor belt that you're missing, they're piling up in the corner. So in order for you to leave the room in one piece, you have to touch those objects and place them in the correct place, or else those objects will fill up the room and you will suffocate. That is what resistance does. It causes us to suffocate and suffer even more. So not only will you have to do the task that you're supposed to do, now it's going to be even more challenging and more difficult and more painful and more increasingly discomforting because you resisted it. So that is why resistance causes suffering. So the best thing that we can do to become ascendant masters is to lean into that pain and the discomfort and realize that pain and discomfort is there for our benefit and highest good. And not only that, we can have fun in it. We can have fun in it, and realizing that it's only temporary, and not only have fun in it, but we can become indifferent to it, to the point where it doesn't affect us anymore. It's like the wind blowing, it becomes just a part of our existence. So we not become numb to it, but we ascend it. We transcend the pain and the discomfort. All right. So I'm going to end my video there. I feel like I've tried to hammer this concept in as much as possible because it's so very important for our very being, right? To make peace with pain and discomfort. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron. It's such a juxtaposition. However, that is the beauty of this realm, is that it is contradictory sometimes. Things are contradictory sometimes, and it's only contradictory because there's an illusion. Once we surpass that illusion, once we get past that illusion, we see that that's actually the way that it's supposed to be. All right. I love you all so very much, and I will see you in the next video. All right, peace. Creatrix out.